What's up, everyone? Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're diving into Foundation Season 3, Episode 7, a wild chapter that delivers invasions, betrayals, psychedelic revelations, and some of the darkest moments of the season so far. If you thought last week was intense, this one raises the stakes everywhere, from New Terminus to Trantor to the Mycogen District. And of course, we finally get a look at the Mules' backstory. So let's unpack everything that went down, piece by piece, and talk about what it all means heading into the final stretch of the season.
Tell me!
Picking up from Episode 6. Last week, Gaul and Demerzel had that unforgettable encounter where Demerzel basically forced Gaul to relive her visions of the Mule. That's how she realized that the confrontation with him is destined to happen at the Imperial Library on Trantor. And when Demerzel left Gaal alive, it wasn't out of mercy. It was because she wants to meet her again, probably when that moment arrives. Meanwhile, New Terminus was already in flames, torn apart by the Mule's manipulation of its defenses. Pritchard was locked away, Torin and Beta were caught in the middle, and Digital Selden was exposed as being little more than a glorified encyclopedia. Oh, and on top of all that, Day popped up at Songbird's place demanding she restore her memories. Songbird shut him down hard, revealing she's with Oceanglass now. A lot was set in motion, but this week, everything explodes.
Me, and you will call me first citizen.
The Mule invades. New Terminus Episode 7 opens with the civil war on New Terminus still raging. The Mule's psychic grip has turned the planet's own defenses against itself, and people are fighting like puppets on strings. Pritchard, still locked up, begs Seth to release him so he can fight back. Seth sticks to Indber's orders and leaves him to rot. Meanwhile, Toron is carrying Beta across the planet, literally carrying her on his shoulders the entire episode. And you know what? For a character who's mostly been shown as a soft, pretty boy, up until now, this was an impressive showcase. Cody Fern deserves credit here because it looks like he's really doing the heavy lifting. Then the Mule finally arrives. And when he does, almost everyone, including Indber, drops to their knees. Shrike, one of the few who resists, tries to speak out and gets shot in the head instantly by Warden Greer. It's brutal, but it shows the Mule's dominance right away. Now, remember that gift Indber promised the Mule? Turns out, it's Pritchard himself locked away in the Stratosphere prison. Indber actually thinks he can trade Pritchard for peace, which tells you just how delusional he's become about the Mule's intentions.
They've been giving orders to fire on our own ships.
It's the Mule.
Pritchard's failed assassination. But Indber's too late because Pritchard has already made his move. Using his mentelic powers, he disguises himself as a guard and escapes his cell. He even manages to get close enough to the Mule to line up a perfect shot. For a moment, it looks like this might be it. This might be where history changes. But then, in the cruelest twist possible, his gun jams. Pritchard is forced to retreat, stealing a whisper ship and hiding somewhere on New Terminus instead of fleeing the planet entirely. And that's what catches the Mule's attention. Why didn't Pritchard run? Why did he stay? To the Mule, that screams rebellion. Meanwhile, Torin finally makes it to his ship and places Beta in the medbay. But just when it seems like he can get her out of danger, he runs into Randu, his own uncle. And here's the gut punch. Randu has fallen under the Mule's sway. He betrays Torin, handing him and Beta over. During the chaos, Beta is kidnapped. Torin realizes he can't fight off all the Mule's men, so he boards an escape pod, vowing to come back for her one day. In one of those ironic Foundation-style twists, the pod's launch kills Randu when a rivet flies into his skull. After surviving countless scrapes, he's finally gone for good. The Mule doesn't take these losses lightly. Furious over losing Pritchard and Randu, he turns his rage on Indber. And in one of the coldest moments of the season, he forces Indber to take his own life. Indber, who has spent so long sneering at everyone else, actually goes out smiling, as if accepting his own tragic fate. And just like that, Indber is dead.
Capillus. Capillus.
Hello, Capillus.
Yeah, shoot.
Capillus is dead. While all this chaos unfolds on New Terminus, Trantor is in disarray too. News of the Mule's victories has everyone on edge. Without Dawn or Demerzel by his side, Dusk is left scrambling. He recalls ships, taps into siege reserves, and orders probes sent to New Terminus. But he's unraveling. At one point, he even starts rambling about animals on the loose, which at first sounds like a metaphor for the Mule's forces. But nope, he's talking about Day's pet ferret, Capillus. Yes, with the Empire crumbling around him, Dusk is worried about a ferret. Later, he meets with Ambassador Quent over dinner. Instead of focusing on the Mule, they get distracted feeding Capillus treats. The Empire's leadership has never looked more out of touch. And then, in a moment that left a lot of viewers furious, Dusk kills Capillus, just casually murders the little creature. This might seem small compared to the galaxy-wide stakes, but it's telling. The Cleonic dynasty has always been cruel, but this moment shows just how broken they've become. It's unnecessary, it's petty, and it strips away any lingering sympathy for their rule. If you weren't rooting for the Empire's destruction before, this scene probably sealed it.
I wasn't born. I was made.
Day gets drugged. Meanwhile, over in Mycogen, Day is having his own bizarre journey. After last week's confrontation, he actually tries to apologize to Songbird for assuming she was single and invading her life. But he still insists on proving that Demerzel is a robot. Songbird refuses to help, saying she doesn't want her old memories back. So Oceanglass steps in with a plan. She mixes a hallucinogenic spore drink and gives it to Day as a test. What follows is one of the trippiest sequences Foundation has ever done. Day hallucinates Demerzel stepping out of a mural, granting him a belly button, literally transforming him from a lab-grown clone into something resembling a real human. He runs around naked. He screams. He sees visions of identity and creation. It's wild. The editing, sound design, and visuals make it one of the most immersive depictions of a drug trip I've seen on TV in a while. But this isn't just a random detour. Through these hallucinations, Songbird and Oceanglass confirm two things. First, that Day is telling the truth about Demerzel being a robot, and second, that Demerzel herself desires something more than servitude.
I suppose I would make more creatures like me.
Demerzel's yearning for freedom. And here's where things get fascinating. Through Day's drugged state, we learn that Demerzel's true desire, if she could ever break free of her programming, is not vengeance, but creation. She wants to build more robots like herself. Think about that. For centuries, she's been chained to the Cleonic dynasty, forced to serve men she despises. And yet, her deepest longing is to create life like her own. If that's true, then the inheritance cult who worship machines would be the perfect place for her to rise as a goddess. The question now is, if Demerzel does get her freedom, can she overcome her programming enough to accept it? Or will she still be trapped by the invisible chains that bind her? Before Songbird and Oceanglass can discuss this further, Sunmaster arrives. We don't see much of him yet, just his staff and those memorable abs, but he acknowledges the gift Day brought, the makeup tool stolen from Mycogen. Except, as Sunmaster points out, it's not a gift at all. It was stolen long ago, and Day is just returning it. His arrival leaves a big question mark hanging over Day's future. The Mule's backstory. The episode then shifts focus to the Mule himself, and for the first time, we get his origin story. He was born on Rossum, a farming planet exploited by the Foundation. His family had 2 children, which was against the one-child policy enforced by Foundation assessors. When they discovered the baby, the parents were given 30 days to choose which child to kill, or risk losing the entire family. At the end of that 30 days, the family went to a reservoir. It looked like a normal outing, but the parents were actually planning to drown their teenage son, the boy who would become the Mule. At the brink of death, his latent mentalic powers activated. He compelled his parents to drown themselves instead, sparing his baby sibling. He left the child with neighbors and fled. Eventually, he joined the very pirates who were exploiting his people, believing even they were better than the Foundation. His vendetta has been simmering ever since. His war isn't just about conquest, it's personal. He wants the galaxy to feel the same pain Rossum felt.
I wonder how much of it is true. Oh.
Digital Selden meets the Mule. The episode ends with the Mule standing at the vault, recounting his tragic past. Digital Selden appears and listens, but instead of sympathizing, he immediately questions the authenticity of the Mule's story. And that's the big twist here. Was the Mule's backstory real, or is it a crafted narrative meant to justify his actions? Some theories suggest this Mule may not even be the real Mule, that he could be a puppet, possibly even manipulated by Magnifico, who we've seen before. If that's the case, then his memories might not be his own. Either way, the fact that Selden challenges him shows that history itself is now up for debate. Who are the villains? Who are the heroes? The Foundation was supposed to save humanity, but here, they're the ones who imposed the brutal policies that destroyed Rossum. The Mule might be a tyrant, but he's also a victim of their cruelty.
Don't shoot! I'm with you! I'm with the Mule!
Our nerdy thoughts. So where does episode 7 leave us? Indbur is dead, forced to kill himself by the Mule. Pritcher is still alive, hiding on New Terminus, and likely planning a rebellion. Beta is captured, while Toron barely escapes. Dusk is unraveling, proving the Empire is weaker than ever. Day is spiraling, lost in hallucinations and under the eye of Sunmaster. Demerzel's true desire has been revealed, freedom through creation. The Mule's backstory reframes him as both victim and villain, blurring the line between justice and tyranny. With only a few episodes left, the stage is set for absolute chaos. The Empire is fractured, the Foundation is vulnerable, and the Mule's rise seems unstoppable. The only question is, will Gaul, Demerzel, and Digital Selden find a way to change history before it's too late? And that's everything that went down in Foundation Season 3, Episode 7. This episode didn't just push the story forward, it redefined who we see as the heroes and villains of this saga. But I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Mule's backstory is real, or is it just propaganda? Is Demerzel capable of breaking her chains? And most importantly, who do you think makes it out alive by the end of the season? Drop your theories in the comments, and let's talk it out.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.